Hey guys!
Hey, have you guys ever seen people or families coordinate their Halloween costumes and their Halloween decorations?
We actually like to do this whenever we possibly can.
So, what does this have to do with learning how to live with greater joy in your life?
Well, having a theme is a lot like knowing who you are.
And when you know who you are, you will live a life with greater purpose and meaning.
Having a clearer sense of purpose and meaning allows one to live with greater joy and less overwhelm.
And this happens because we have better direction on where to go and what to do, and we can make our decisions with greater intention.
Let's start off with Halloween 2011, where we hadn't even planned on dressing up until an hour before the event even took place. It wasn't until we saw a picture of a simple way to decorate our car to make it look like a mouth that we decided to go all in. And once we came up with the identity for the car, it seemed like just looking around the house, we saw ways that we could actually have costumes that matched and went with the car itself. A simple tulle skirt turned me into the Tooth Fairy, and of course I had to grab that plastic container that was sitting in the kitchen, add a label and some string to make some floss. And with the help of an old t-shirt and some markers, we also transformed Sione into a cavity.
An embraced identity allowed us to achieve far more than we'd originally thought would be possible.
The next year, we planned ahead when it came to the costumes. We went with a Wizard of Oz theme, and my brother even joined us as the Cowardly Lion. Because we hadn't mastered our decorating skills just yet, we continued to ask ourselves, who is the Wizard of Oz? And as we asked ourselves this question, we found ways to try to make it look like the Wizard of Oz with sound effects that boomed and said, "I am the great Wizard of Oz," coming from our car trunk, and some lights. But even still, everyone could recognize him as the wizard.
When you know who you are, it helps others recognize and treat you accordingly.
By 2012, it felt like we were upping our game in the trunk or treat department. We dressed up as chess pieces, the White King and the White Queen, complete with our trunk as the rabbit hole, and music from the theatrical motion picture of Alice in Wonderland playing. This particular year, we added a new element. We added a game to the mix because we wanted it to be more fun for the kids that were actually going and trunk-or-treating. So we took a laundry basket, one of the tall ones, flipped it upside down, and we taped a giant playing card to its front. So that's what they saw when they came. And we took an old ice cream bucket, decorated it to look like a head, placed it on top of the laundry basket so it looked like the card had a head, and we gave them a ball, and every time they came through to collect candy, they had a chance to throw the ball and try to knock the head off of the bucket and yell, "Off with its head." It ended up being a big hit, and people continued to come through over and over again, not caring if they got any candy, just to play the game.
When you know who you are, you can tap into that identity to not only have greater joy in your own life, but to also add joy to the lives of others as well.
2015 was all about Wreck-It Ralph. But the real fun in this year was being able to encourage and help my dad join in on the fun with us. I helped him create games and decorations around his costume for his car.
When you know who you are and aren't afraid to show it, you encourage others to more fully embrace who they are as well.
One of my favorite Halloweens was the year of our Despicable Me theme. We had our costumes and an idea for our lab. We started off with one regular minion, but then when we remembered that this was for a Halloween party, we decided to add a few more and dress them up in costumes. When we learned there would be a pumpkin carving contest, we added blueprints and plans on how to win it to our decorations. For a separate part of the activity, I was asked to help with a photo booth. And we just knew we needed to add some better props so we could take pictures with them ourselves. Enter the fart gun and homemade fluffy unicorn. The more we learned and understood about the trunk or treat event, the better we were able to make our own costumes and our trunk.
When you know who you are, it's easier to evolve into a better version of yourself as you interact with the world around you. One way to get a clearer understanding of who you are is to understand your potential and what you're capable of. We'll take this power drill, for example. If you don't know what it's capable of or what its potential is, you don't know how to use it as best as possible. For example, there is a speed right here, but if you only knew that that's all you knew about that speed, that's all you would do and wouldn't be able to do much. But then you find out it can do this, and it can do this, and work backwards and forwards, and stronger speed. So you can really find out who you are just like the power tool. If you find out all it's capable of and its potential, you really can figure out what you can really put yourself to and accomplish, just like the power tool can accomplish so much if you know what it's capable of and what its potential is.
Another way to get a clearer understanding of who you are is to identify a role model that you can actually model after. You know, it's kind of like playing the role of a character that you dress up as for Halloween. Once you identify this role model, rehearse and play that role constantly and consistently until that role becomes your life, until that role becomes the role of your life. We actually talk a lot more about this in one of our podcast episodes, Adding Joy to the Journey, if you'd like to learn more about this subject in particular.
But here's one last thing before we go.
A key to understanding our divine identity is to actually recognize that we are each children of God. And as we increase in our understanding and our knowledge of what this actually means, we also increase our ability to feel greater joy, have more meaning and purpose in our lives, etc.
We'll see you guys next month with another lesson on how to live a life of joy. Until next time.
Who knows what lessons this month will bring? Peace out.